topic for today is navigation. So another meaning of navigation, it is an art and science of directing, controlling, and monitoring the movement of the vessel from one place to another in the shortest, safest, and most secure possible way. So for our technical terms in navigation, or terrestrial navigation, first is axis, so diameter, about which the Earth rotates. The north end is called the North Pole, while the south end is called the South Pole. So we have great circle, circle on the surface of the sphere, whose plane passes through the center of the sphere, and the largest circle that can be drawn on the sphere. Next is we have meridian, so semi-gray circle drawn on the Earth's surface between two poles. Next is parallel of latitude, a small circle drawn on the Earth's surface above or below the equator. Next is radio detection and ranging, or radar. It is an abbreviation for the electronic navigational equipment used for the detection of objects at sea. And lastly, we have small circle, circle drawn on the sphere that does not pass at the center of it. So we have terrestrial navigation. So terrestrial comes from the Latin word terra, meaning earth or land. So it is type of navigation that enables seafarers to determine the ship's position using all techniques that are based on terrestrial sightings such as islands, lighthouses, mountains, and other fixed objects from land. It comprises of dead reckoning and visual navigation. So next is dead reckoning, or DR. It locates the ship's position by advancing a known position using speed and course for a certain period. So this process uses the speed formula. Speed is equal to distance traveled divided by time. So supplementary, a nautical chart can be used to point the direction and the distance traveled by the vessel. So when their position or dead reckoning position is corrected for external factors like current and wind, it is called estimated position. Next is visual navigation or coastal navigation. It corresponds to navigation wherein sight of land. So it uses the direction and the distance of landmarks to identify the position of the vessel. When navigating in restricted and confined water, vessel's position should be frequently observed, including the surrounding land, water, fixed structures, and something's called piloting. So ito yung pinaka-introduction natin sa terrestrial navigation. So dito sa terrestrial navigation, so mostly ang atin ay pagpa-plot ng position or estimated position using visual or any types of navigation na makikita natin sa ating horizon. For example nga ay ang ating lighthouses, mountains, at other fixed objects from land. So yung mga fixed lang, yung commonly nandun na or nakatayo, establishments. So we have the Earth. So Earth is an oblate spheroid or sphere flattened at the poles. So ang ating namang mundo ay hindi actually bilog na bilog. So ang ating mundo ay flattened, ang ating north and south poles. So we have equator is the terrestrial great circle whose plane is perpendicular to the polar axis. The equator is the basis for measuring latitude 90 degrees north and 90 degrees south. It is the only parallel of latitude, which is a great circle, wherein once drawn vertically is called the prime meridian. So equator, alam naman natin yan, yung pinakagitna or pinaka-sentro ng mundo. Yan. So yan ang ating equator. So siya lang din naman yung nag-iisang great circle sa ating mundo. So beyond that ay small circles na. So great circle is a circle on the Earth's surface described by a plane passing through the Earth's center. So, yan naman yung great circle. So small circle is any circle on the Earth's surface other than the great circle. So yan nga yung na-describe ko kanina. So other than the great circle or yung equator, so siya na yung small circle. Next is the meridian. So any north or south line that runs from the North Pole, passes through the equator, and reaches the South Pole. So, yan yung meridian. So, dito naman sa ating illustration, makikita nyo na yung Greenwich Meridian. So, from the word Greenwich Meridian, yung meridian word nga, so from North Pole, passes the equator, going to our South Pole. So, yan yung meridian. And vice versa. Pwede namang South Pole to equator going to the North Pole. Okay. Then latitude or parallel of latitude. It is the arc measured 0 degrees or 0 degree to 90 degrees north or south from the equator. So, yan yung latitude. So, alam nyo na yon. Then, longitude or meridians of longitude is measured 0 degrees to 180 degrees east is yan or west from the Greenwich Meridian. So, syempre, ang ating Greenwich Meridian, yan yung 0. So, from going to east and going to west, so susukat yan ng hanggang 180. So, hanggang sa international dateline. Okay, determining position. So, in identifying the exact position of the vessel or object at sea, latitude and longitude are combined. To avoid any confusion in communication, the latitude will be given first, followed by the longitude. So, for example, the position of ship A is at latitude 40 degrees, 00 minutes north, and longitude 140 degrees, 00 minutes west. Another example is the position of motor vessel Empress of Asia is at latitude 69 degrees, 55 minutes south, and longitude 175 degrees, 00 minutes east. So, ganyan yung pagbibigay ng ating position. So, latitude muna bago ang longitude. So, mapapansin nyo naman kasi commonly kahit dito sa lupa sa ating mga sasakyan meron naman GPS. At saka kahit sa ating titulo ng lupa, so meron din dyan latitude and longitude. Next is direction. Direction is an angular measurement used to identify the location of an object from a certain reference position. The observer's horizon, just like a circle, is divided into 360 degrees, and the direction taken from the observer is the angle or arc of the horizon measured clockwise around the compass from 0 degree to 360 degrees. So, alam naman natin na ang bilog ay bumubuo ng 360 degrees. To simplify. To determine direction, the following are used. So, we have compass card. A circular card attached to the compass and marked with 360 degrees of the circle indicating the mariner's direction along the horizon. So, yan yung bilog or yung parang papel na nasa loob ng ating compass. Next is the compass, used to measure the direction of the object. There are two types of compass or compasses that are presently used on board ships, the gyro compass and magnetic compass. So the gyro compass uses electricity and points to the geographical true north, while the magnetic compass uses magnetism of the earth and points to the magnetic north. So magkaiba yung tinuturo ng ating gyro compass at ng ating magnetic compass. So, sa illustration, so ating ipofocus na muna dito ay ang ating compass card. So, makikita nyo nakaturo si compass card doon sa loob ng ating compass. No, so, yan yung sinasabi kong bilog na nandoon sa loob ng ating compass mismo. Gyro compass man yan or magnetic compass. So, this is an example of gyro compass. So, ito makikita natin sa loob ng bridge. Illustration. So, marami tayong mga repeaters. So, meron tayong gyro compass sa starboard wing at meron din tayo sa port wing. At meron din tayong repeater pa malapit sa ating console o sa may helmsman natin. So, depende na rin yung kung saan maaaring nakalagay or nakaposition yung isa pang gyro compass. Another ay meron pa tayo sa steering gear room. So, yan. So, yun yung mga gyro compass natin. So, next is our magnetic compass. So, ito yung nandun sa pinakatuktok na deck ng ating barko or sa Monkey Island. So, makikita nyo doon, covered yan. So, malalaman or makikita nyo lang yung direction na tinuturo ni magnetic compass. Makikita nyo yan sa loob pa rin ng bridge. So, dun kay helmsman na tayo or kay timonel na kinatatayuan, meron dun parang tube galing sa ceiling, pababa sa'yo. So, pwede nyo masilip dun or may salamin na magre-reflect yung direction or yung magnetic compass natin. So, ito yung true north and magnetic north. So, for example, dun sa point, dito sa point na to, nandito kayo. So, ang ituturo niyan papuntang north using gyro compass ay itong black. Hanggang dito. So, itinuro niya ay ang true north pole. So, while kapag tumingin ka naman kayo sa ating magnetic compass, dito pa rin sa position yung ito. So, ang ating north or ang ating magnetic north ay dito sa bahaging ito naman. So, yung difference ng dalawang yan ay tinatawag na variation. So, next is types of direction. So, bearing is the direction of the terrestrial object from the observer. So, for example, meron kayong lighthouse na na-site. So, pag kinuha nyo yung position or direction noong inyong lighthouse, so yun yung bearing. So, yun ay from the lighthouse, papunta sa'yo, so yun yung bearing. Then, heading is the direction on which the ship is pointing at a given time. So, yan yung mga isineset nyo or yung nirurumbo ng inyong barko. Then, the course is the intended direction of travel of ship through the water, and when it is based on the ground, it is called track. So, ito yung ginawa na parang voyage plan or yung highway nyo na dapat yung daanan para makapunta sa inyong destination. So, to illustrate, we have true bearing. So, the angle to the target relative to north or clockwise. So, for example, ito yung heading nyo, 90 degrees or 090 degrees. So, ito ang north. So, from north, papunta sa inyong target, yun yung true bearing. So, itong target na ito ay ito. So, for example, ito yung lighthouse. No? Then, heading, so the direction in which the vessel is pointing relative to north. So, ito na yung heading nyo. Then, relative bearing is the angle to a target relative to the ship's heading clockwise. So, ito naman yung from your heading going to the angle ng inyong target. So, yun yung relative bearing. So, directions can be expressed using the following. So, true bearing is measured with reference to geographic or true north. So, example, 00 degrees, true, 090 degrees, true, 180 degrees, true, and 270 degrees, true. So, magnetic direction is measured from the reference to magnetic north. So, gaya ng 0 degrees magnetic and 090 degrees magnetic and so on. And relative direction is measured with the reference to the ship's longitudinal axis. So, yan na may mga relative. So, 0 degrees relative and 90 degrees relative and so on. So, distance, it is a measurement on how two objects are physically apart. So, the unit of distance used in the marine navigation is the International Nautical Miles, or equivalent to 1,852 meters. So, yan yung ginagamit lagi as seafarers or navigators na distance or unit in distance. International Nautical Miles or Nautical Miles. So, next is speed. So, it is the rate at which the vessel moves or travels. So, the unit of speed used in marine navigation is not defined as 1 nautical mile per hour, calculated as speed is equals to distance divided by time. Kung given na yung inyong distance, yung nautical miles, at yung oras ng inyong dating sa certain point or port, So, ano kaya yung dapat nating speed? So, yan yung, or speed para makarating tayo dun sa puertong ating dapat mapuntahan. So, yan yung formula. So, ito yung sa illustration dito sa baba. So, ito lang yung dapat yung laging tatandaan. So, yung DST. So, para hindi na kayo malilito. So, distance is equals to speed times time. Then, kung ang kailangan naman ay speed, then speed is equals to distance divided by time. Then, kung time naman ang hinahanap, so distance divided by speed. So, yun lang. So, these are used to calculate how far the ship will travel or speed nga. So, how fast it will voyage and how soon it will arrive at a certain destination. So, for example, or example problem, given speed ay 10 knots, time ay 30 minutes, or converted into hours, 0.5 hours, and course ay 030 degrees. So, distance traveled ay 10 nautical miles times 0.5 is equals to 5 nautical miles per hour. So, meron pang isang problem. In 1 hour, how long does the ship travel? So, 5 nautical miles per hour times 2 is equals to 10 nautical miles. So, the ship travels 10 nautical miles. So, another problem, find the speed of the ship that travels 350 nautical miles in 1 day. So, 350 divided by 24, kasi 24 hours in 1 day is equals to 14.58 knots. Next is our nautical chart. So the nautical chart is an essential tool used by mariners to locate the position of the vessel at sea, which contains graphic representation of maritime area and adjacent coastal regions, which shows necessary informations. Example, gratia is the depth of water, shoreline, aids to navigation, etc. for the safe navigation of the vessel. It is also used to determine the direction and distance of objects found on the specific area. So, yan yung ating nautical chart. So, meron tayong paper chart at meron din tayo sa Eclipse na the same lang naman yung inyong makikita. So, nandito yung mga aids to navigation natin. So, yung mga lighthouses, life buoys, depth of water, mga reporting points. So, yan, nandyan ang lahat. So, line of position or LOP by visual sight. So, as the vessel approaches coastal water, a navigator can sight bearing and of landmarks using the compass and plot it in the nautical chart. This line denotes that the vessel's position is anywhere on this line. So, ito yung pagkuha natin ng bearing ng mga lighthouses or any fixed objects. No? So, for example, dito sa ating illustration, so meron tayong LOP taken 1000 hours using a true bearing of a lighthouse. So, maring nandito siya somewhere here, then na-sight niya itong lighthouse na to, kinuha niya yung bearing, then ipinalat niya. So, hindi pa natin agad-agad makukuha yung position mo kung iisa lang yung iyong line of position. So, dito tayo sa sunod. So, Vissual Fix. So, it is the point where the two or more LOPs intersect. So, this indicates that the ship's exact position on the chart. So, kung ano yung ginawa nyo dito sa isa, yun din ang kukunin nyo or gagawin nyo dito sa mga susunod. So, kailangan lang during 10 o'clock or 10 in the morning. So, sinight nyo to, kinuha nyo yung bearing nyo, nag-sight kayo, kinuha nyo yung bearing dito, sinight nyo itong isa, kinuha nyo yung bearing, then you plot it. So, yung intersection niya, so, yun yung position ng inyong barko. So, next is the visual range. So, visual range is the most accurate type of LOP. It uses the bearing of two objects in one line. So, meron kasing iba, lalo na kung approaching kayo sa mga coastal waters or channeling, meron diyang mga lighthouses na dalawa or light range. Yan. Once na magkapatong yung dalawang yan, so magandang pagkuhanan din yan ng position or LOP. Then, dagdagan nyo na lang to make sure na nandun kayo sa inyong or to identify kung nasan nga mismo yung inyong position. So we have the aids to navigation. So navigators navigate through the ocean and coastal waters with the help of special structures like lighthouses, buoys, fog signals, day beacons, and etc. So they provide opportunities to get line of position and guide them to avoid dangers, especially during coastal navigation. So we have lighthouse. So it is a tower or other visible fixed object during the day that displays light during the night to direct warn and guide the ship to bypass dangers at sea. It also gives the navigators a good view of line of position. So isa to sa mga commonly kinukuhanan ng LOP ang ating lighthouses. So alam naman natin na once na meron lighthouse, nagsasign niya na merong danger doon sa area yun. Next is the beacons and raccoons. So conspicuous fixed structures at sea designed to give signals and indications to navigators. Some navigational beacons have radar reflectors, radio, sonic, visual, and Morse code signals. So ito yung para ding lighthouse. Kaso lang meron siyang mga ibang features gaya ng radar reflectors, nagtatransmit ng radio signals, sonic and visual, and Morse code signals to warn the seafarers or navigators of the ships. So, leading and raging lights. So, ito yung kanina yung visual LOP. So, yan yung pinagpapatong. So, magandang pagkuhanan ng position. So, a pair of structures or light beacons that when seen in line leads the vessel to the right direction to facilitate safe passage when proceeding to channel. So, ito na may malimit nga na nasa mga channels. So, once na yan ay magkapatong na dito, so for example, itong dalawang nasa taas, magkapatong na ganyan, so tama or nasa right kayo ng passage or ng channel. So, kung yan ay medyo nandito sa gilid niya, so medyo hindi kayo safe. So, kailangan mapagpatong nyo yung dalawa to make sure na safe yung inyong navigation to that channel. Next is navigational buoys. So, floating devices found at sea to guide the mariners for the safe navigation of the vessel. So, yan naman malimit yung ating mga buya. Makikita sa mga coastal areas. So, we have the lateral marks. So, this indicates the direction of movement of the ship coming from the sea and the limit of the channel used for navigation. So, for Region A or IALA A, comprises nations in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, parts of Africa, and most of Asia except the Philippines, Japan, and Korea Peninsula. So in Region B or IALA B, it indicates North and South America, Philippines, Japan, and Korean Peninsula. So Region A, red is to port and green is to starboard. Then Region B, green is to port and red is to starboard. So ito mga ito, ginagamit or sinusunod sa ganyang mga lugar. So, once na pumasok kayo sa isang channeling or sa isang area na medyo makipot, so, yan yung mga susundan nyo, yung mga buyang yan. So, kailangan lang alam nyo kung nasang lugar kayo. So, kung kayo ay nasa Region A, so yung red ang nasa port at green ang nasa starboard kung saan siya yung talagang nakasanayan. So, kung kayo naman nasa lugar na pasok sa Region B, so baka mapansin nyo, bakit ang ating port ay green at bakit red ang starboard. So, yun yung mga isa sa mga mapapansin nyo. So, yan yung ma-identify kung nasa right track kayo ng channel at hindi kayo napapadpad into danger. So, next is cardinal marks. So, this indicates where the vessel may pass to avoid certain danger. So, itong mga buyang ito ay nakapalibot doon sa area kung saan may danger. Kagaya ng mga wreck or may mga coral areas or shallow waters. So, yan. So, may mga light indications yan. So, kagaya ng relo, para maano nyo yung ilaw niya. So, 12, 3, 6, 9. So, yan yung mga bilang ng ilaw nila. So, once na nakita nyo, so, alam nyo na kung nasaang area or nasang location yung danger. So, once na ito ang napapansin nyo, so continuous yan. Hindi naman 12 talaga. So, continuous blinking of light. So, malalaman nyo, yun na yung danger niya or yung ini-indicate niyang danger ay nasa may bandang baba niya. So, kasi yung north buoy indicates that the danger is then north of it. Okay, tama ba? So, yun. So, isa pa ang palatandaan. So, once na umaga naman, hindi nyo mapapansin yung ilaw niya. So, once na ang dalawang arrow ay nakaturong pa itaas, so it means north. So, kung magkabaliktaran naman, magkabaliktaran ganyan, yan na lang. So, east. So, kung nakaturo naman sa baba, so in south, then, according to my professor dati, kung wine glass siya, or magkatutok na ganyan, so nasa west. So, indications din, itong mga color codings niya. So, kapag black, above yellow, so north. So, yellow above black, so south. Then black, yellow, black, so east. Then yellow, black, yellow means west. So, yun yung cardinal marks. So, types of navigational buoys. So, we have isolated danger marks. So, this indicates the position of hazard at sea where the vessel may pass in a considerable distance in any direction. So, ito ay kaya nga isolated danger mark. So, merong danger na ini-indicate yung buya. Ano? So, during the day, mapapansin nyo yung dalawang black ball and the color coding ay black, red, and red. So, it means it's in danger. Safe water marks. So, this indicates the safe and navigable waters in the area. So, kapag napansin nyo naman to, so safe mag-navigation or dumaan doon sa area yon. So, ang kulay naman niya ay white and red. Okay? Next is the special mark. So, this indicates special features such as military exercises zones and recreation zones. So, makikita yung dilaw na merong X sa ibabaw. So, kapag may ganyan, huwag na kayo pupunta at baka madamay pa kayo sa isang military exercises. So, yan naman ay binobroadcast din nung military group or ng fleet nila para magbigay ng warning. So, you will be plotting its position para alam mo at maiwasan nyo na agad sooner. No? So, kung hindi nyo man agad mapansin yung buya, so at least na-plot nyo yung area kung nasaan sila, so may iwasan nyo na yun. And emergency wreck marks. So, this indicate new wrecks that are dangerous to navigation. So, yan. So, yung cross na yellow, blue, and yellow. So, it means emergency wreck mark. So, navigational buoys. So, all navigational buoys follows international standard color coding as per International Association of Marine Aids to Navigation and Lighthouse Authorities. So, yan yung IALA. So, sila din yung nag-manage nung sa IALA A and IALA B or yung Region A at Region B. So, sila din yung nag-aano ng ating mga lighthouses. Iba't ibang buya. So, lahat yan. Sila yung authority dyan sa mga bagay na yan.